Come in.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Good. I'm Dan Carlton. Who are you?
I'm Emory.
Great stuff. Now, you probably noticed we got a new railway station near the college.
Yeah.
What do you think of that then?
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed actually. Coming out, I've never been down this side before, and I have to say, pretty impressive stuff. All the new steelworks and the concrete.
Right.
But personally, I just think it's a bit of a cover-up because the trains are still pretty crap.
Yeah, well, that's another problem altogether. Okay, so just a bit about the interview itself. Be very informal, just like a chat really. So if you've got any questions at any point, just jump right in, okay?
Yeah. Just one question.
Sure.
Roughly, how long is the interview going to be?
Okay, no, that's fine. It's 20, 30 minutes, depending on how long it takes to get through everything.
Okay, fine.
I'd like to know where the idea to work in construction came from. Is that a recent thought, or has it been around for some time?
I'd say it's been around for a while. I guess it started at home because my dad's a builder. He's an electrician, and while I was finishing school, he used to take me on the weekends to help him out, start working, getting some experience. And I enjoyed it because he treated me like any of the other builders, so I didn't feel like I got any special service just because I was his son.
Right, so you had to get on site on time, things like that?
Yes, he was very strict about that sort of stuff, and I did get an earful every now and then if I was late.
So are there any other interests that you have outside the construction business?
Yeah, a friend of mine's actually in a band, and when they go gigging on the weekends, I help them set up. So, because I'm the only one who sort of knows how to put stuff together, I'll set up the speakers, make sure everything's plugged into the mixing desk, and I do a little bit of controlling there as well. So I'd say I'm a dab hand at the old mixing desk as well.
So tell me a bit more about your interest in being an electrician rather than any other trade.
Like I said before, it does link back to me starting, working with my dad. That's basically how I got interested, and I've just taken it from there. And I'd like to see myself, perhaps after my apprenticeship, depending on where I go, starting up my own firm, maybe owning my own business, taking over from my dad, who knows.
Right, so you're quite ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, I do see this as sort of where I want to go, what I want to do, perhaps linked in with the music stuff as well. But certainly, I'd like to see myself owning my own business one day, definitely.
Now, I don't want to be too harsh, but your academic record isn't too impressive. So if you can, try and convince me that you can keep up with the college side of the course.
I think I've learnt from experience, having finished school, that you do need to put the work effort in. And whereas my academics may not be as strong, I certainly do want to work on that, because even though I didn't feel it was important then, I do feel it's important now. So trying to balance the two will be a challenge for me, and I think I'll feel better if I can pull it off, rather than thinking, well, I've got this 2-year apprenticeship, I don't have to really work on my college because I know I'm going to step into, being an electrician anyway.
Right.
I'd rather to prove to myself, I guess, that I could do this sort of thing.
Okay, so tell me how you'd approach your classwork at college differently from the way you approached it at school to make sure that things go better, if you can.
Probably listen more, structure my sort of the way I work, putting more effort in general, but certainly listening more. I'd say that was the most important thing for me to do. All I can say is that I will try my best. I will work my hardest because this is something I want to do. Therefore, it's important to me that I do well on both sides of the spectrum, as it were.
Right. Okay, so you're on a building site, you're on your own, there's no foreman around, and a cement lorry turns up, and the driver says he needs to dump the cement there and then because he's got another delivery to go to, and he asks your permission to do it. You don't know anything about it, and there's no one to refer to. How would you approach this?
I'd say the first issue for me would be safety, I guess, because if on a building site, it's a pretty dangerous place to be, and if people turn up, especially with cement, and just leave it there with no, sort of like prior engagement, someone coming to pick it up and take it elsewhere, it could cause a bit of a problem. So I'd try and I guess work out what's the safest thing for me to do? What's the safest way to play this? Do I stay there and wait until someone comes to pick it up? I have to ask myself the question, why is it that when the guy turned up, no one was there to meet him, as it were, to greet him and then take it off his hands? I guess that would be my first issue, I guess, safety.
And what about anything else?
I'd also be concerned about the fact that no one was there to sort of, the organisation of it. No one was there to make sure that once it arrived, it would be taken to where it needed to go straight away. So I guess where I'd be trying to work out things is why hasn't it been organised in such a way that when things turn up, which have been ordered for, that someone's there to take it to where it needs to be, rather than leaving it perhaps in a dangerous position, obstructing other workers getting through.
Right, and what might you ask the driver? What would you question him about?
I'd ask him, who did you bring this for? Well, what time? Do you have? I guess I'd ask him, to be honest. Do you have to leave now? Could you not wait and stay here until I find someone, so I can get someone to come sort this out, rather than him just sort of, going away, leaving me to do it? Because I feel each person has his responsibility, and up to a point it will be his responsibility, I'm guessing, to make sure that it's given to the person who he's delivering it to.
Right. Now, you mentioned health and safety, and it's been in the papers a lot recently in relation to the safety of the railways. Is that something that interests you? Have you read about that? Do you have a point of view on it?
Yeah, I've read a little about that. I mean, from what I understand, I think part of the problem is that because all the different areas of rail track, as it were, are privatised, all the different companies sort of don't want to, come together and work something out. And because they're all separate, they're not sort of working on a sort of like, a set standard of safety throughout the rail system. They seem to just be saying, okay, this will work for us and that will work for them. We don't need to worry about each other. I'd say that's where the problem lies, negligence on all the different companies, because they're just greedy.
Okay, so if someone made you head of rail track now, what's the first thing you'd do?
Difficult question. I'd call for a meeting, I guess, some sort of board meeting, to try and look at the situation and say, listen, we need to come together and work out a set plan, to look at the specific points where we are lacking. Let's say in things that aren't being looked after, like the state of the actual tracks themselves, the points, I think they're called the light points, or wherever all the signals are, where all these failures happen, and try and say, well, why are we running on different signals for different companies? We should all be running at the same thing.
So, is there anything you want to ask me?
I guess my one question would be, you've talked about my academic standard, that is perhaps a little bit below level of what you're expecting. I just want to sort of know, I guess, how difficult the academic side is. What will be required of me in terms of what I need to do for the coursework and such and such.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I think the best thing to do is I'll put you in touch with one of the course leaders who can show you some work and you can have a chat about that. It's good that you're concerned about that. I think it's a very good question.